Yeah, Sri Ram. So today we begin with the eighth part of the Ramāyana reading. Before we begin, obeisance unto Lord Viveka and Saraswati including Sri Ram before we begin. Om Shri Ganesaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Ramāyana Namaha. Jai Hanuman. The battle begins. On the eve of battle, Rama called his generals together. They climbed to the summit of Mount Suvela, from where they could clearly see the city of Lanka and what was to be the field of battle. As the sun set in a red sky, they saw the battlements of the city lined with densely packed rows of demons. The full moon rose, and they spent their last night before the battle on the mountain top. In the morning, they saw spread below them a landscape of groves, lawns, and waterfalls alive with the songs of birds. Above this was the peak of Trikuta, on which stood Lanka, floating like a golden cloud. Behind its fortified gates, they saw Ravana's golden palace, its turrets touching the heavens. On the battlements of the northern gate, they were excited to see Ravana himself wearing a blood-red robe. Sugriva bellowed with rage and leaped from the top of Mount Suvela onto the battlements in front of Ravana. Today I will kill you, he cried, and snatched Ravana's crown. And I will separate your head from your body, shouted Ravana. In a moment, the two were locked in combat, wrestling arm to arm, chest to chest, and leg to leg. Each was expert in the art of wrestling and strove with equal intensity. As they struggled, they fell from the ramparts to the foot of the walls. But still, they fought on, crouching, leaping, and pressing each other's bodies until they were smeared with blood and dust. Neither had the upper hand, and Ravana was on the point of summoning his sorcery when Sugriva leaped high into the sky and returned to the summit of Mount Suvela, where he was greeted with cheers. Rama and Lakshmana led the monkey generals down from the mountain and advanced the troops to the walls of Lanka. Armed with trees and rocks, the monkeys waited in excitement for battle to commence, setting up a noise like rolling thunder and engulfing the walls of the city. Before ordering the attack, Rama sent Angada with a last message for Ravana. He flew over the battlements into Ravana's presence. Rama sends you this message, he announced. The time of retribution for your sins has come. For too long you have terrorized the innocent. Now I will punish you. Keep up your courage, and I will slay you on the battlefield, thus releasing you from your sins and sending you to heaven. Prepare to die. Take this evil monkey and put him to death, cursed Ravana. 4 demons seized Angada, but he soared with them high into the air, then shook them off so that they crashed to the ground. Then he flew back to Rama. Standing before the walls of Lanka, Rama thought of Sita and ordered battle to begin. Hordes of monkeys began scaling the walls, smashing the defenses with their rods and trees and beating down the mighty gates. Waves of demons in dazzling golden armor rushed out, eager to give battle. They struck the monkeys with maces, axes, and swords, and the monkeys struck them with trees and rocks, all with their teeth and nails. The fighting was fierce enough to make your hair stand on end. As the day progressed, one after another of the leading demons was vanquished, and the battlefield was covered with spears, arrows, shattered chariots, and dead elephants. Darkness fell, but the fighting raged on. Rama's arrows shone like tongues of flame as the knight wore on Angara gained the upper hand in his fight with Indrajit, smashing his chariot and forcing him to flee. However, Indrajit made himself invisible and returned to the fight, invoking the weapon of Brahma which he had used before against Hanuman. Under the cloak of invisibility, he rained down arrows on Rama and Lakshmana. These were no ordinary arrows. They were deadly serpents from the regions of darkness below the earth, transformed into arrows that bit deep into the vital organs of Rama and Lakshmana, binding them as if by cords of steel. Rama was powerless to defend himself against Indrajit's onslaught because he was unable to see where his enemy was. Before long, the two brothers fell to the ground immobile. Indrajit intensified his attack, piercing them with more and more arrows until their entire bodies were covered with fish scabs. Go now to the abode of death, he shouted in rage. Rama and Lakshmana, trembling in the darkness with pain and weakness, lost consciousness. Indrajit, believing them to be dead, flew in triumph to Ravana. As the night ended and light returned to the field, Sugriva, Vibhishana, and others discovered the two princes, hardly breathing and unable to move, lying on a bed of arrows. Drawing around them in a protective cordon, they gave way to despair. Only Vibhishana was optimistic. Rama's vessel has not gone. He and Lakshmana do not have the appearance of dying men. Rama will recover. Indrajit went to Ravana and announced that Rama and Lakshmana were dead. Ravana was beside himself with joy, and the demons celebrated as if the battle were over. Ravana ordered that Sita be taken aboard the Pushpaka airline and shown the dead princess. She was flown in the Pushpaka over the battleground. With her went a demoness named Sujata, who was her friend. When Sita saw the inert bodies of Rama and Lakshmana covered with arrows amid the terrible carnage, she was beside herself with grief. But Trijata encouraged her. These princes are not dead, she deduced. Their bodies shine with a brilliance which is never seen in those about to die. But Sita was inconsolable as she was carried back to the Ashok grove. Rama opened his eyes. He looked beside him and saw Lakshmana lying motionless. Thinking him dead, he felt deep despair. If Lakshmana dies, my life is worthless. Perhaps I could find another Sita, but I could never replace a brother like Lakshmana. He always comforted me when I was depressed. Now who will encourage me? He turned to Sugriva and said, I thank you for your loyal service. You and your brave companions must now return across the sea to your homes. You have done all you can for me, and I am well satisfied. I release you from all further obligation. Just then, a mighty wind blew and lightning flashed in the sky. All at once, there appeared the figure of Garuda, king of the birds and eagle carrier of Vishnu. He shone like blazing fire and was hard to look upon. In an instant, The snake arrows that bound Rama and Lakshmana were released, and the snakes fled in fear, for no snake can stand the presence of Garuda. Bending low, he wiped the faces of Rama and Lakshmana and stroked their bodies. As he did so, their wounds healed and their skin shone bright and smooth. He raised them from the ground and embraced them. You have saved my life, Rama said in wonder. Who are you? I am Garuda, your friend of old. I heard of your plight and hurried here. Don't be curious now about our friendship. Go and regain Sita, and when your quest is complete, you will know who I am. He circled the Rama, spread his wings, and soared into the sky. The monkeys roared in delight and beat upon their drums, ready once more to face the enemy. Kumbhakarna spreads terror. Ravana heard the roar of the monkeys and learned that Rama and Lakshmana had both recovered. Renewing his attack, he sent Dhumrakshaka out from the western gate with a company of demons, riding on a golden chariot pulled by donkeys. A fierce fight ensued, during which many were slain on both sides. For a while, Dhumraksha held the field, but he was soon dead, his limbs shattered beneath a huge rock hurled by Hanuman. Next was Vajradamshra. He led his forces out from the southern gate, where he worked into the midst of the monkey army, striking terror into their hearts. But Angada hurled a mountain crag at him, smashing his chariot and throwing him to the ground, and then cut off his head, sending the panic-stricken demons back inside the city. Ravana now sent out the mighty Agampana with a horde of demons. Dust obscured the armies, and the earth grew muddy with their blood. Akampana slew many monkeys, then turned his onslaught on Hanuman, striking him with volleys of arrows. But Hanuman struck him on the head with a big tree, and the demon lost his life. Downcast at the news of Akampana's death, Ravana summoned Prahasta, his commander-in-chief. I urged you to return Sita and avoid this war, protested Prahasta. Nevertheless, I am ready to defend you with my life. He ascended his glorious chariot and sallied from the eastern gate with one-third of Lanka's forces. The slaughter that ensued was terrible, creating a sea of blood and broken limbs. Prahasta attacked Nila, covered him with arrows, but Nila broke Prahasta's bow with a tree trunk. The two heroes tore at each other's limbs until at last Nila broke a great rock over Prahasta's head, ending his life and routing his army. Angry and dismayed at the death of Prahasta, Ravana decided he himself would have to fight. Effulgent with mystic power, he led an army of gigantic demons out from the gates. Fighting with his 20 arms, he cleaved a path through the monkey army towards Hanuman. Remember me? I killed your son Aksha, Hanuman taunted. You may be safe from gods and demons, but beware of monkeys. Incensed, Ravana dealt Hanuman a huge blow on his chest, knocking him to the ground and moved on. He then attacked Lakshmana and wounded him grievously with his javelin. But Hanuman knocked Ravana aside and carried Lakshmana to safety, where his wounds miraculously healed. Rama then attacked Ravana, destroying his chariot and weapons, and striking him with a formidable arrow in his chest. In pain, the king of the demons dropped his bow and slumped to the ground. Rama spared him his life, allowing him to retreat into Lanka. Come back with a fresh chariot, shouted Rama. You fight me again, then you will discover my full strength. Defeated and disgraced, Ravana re-entered Lanka. He remembered Brahma's warning, beware of humans. He also remembered the curse of Vedavati, who foretold that she would come back as a woman in a future life and be the cause of his death. But he was not about to surrender. Wait, Kumbhakarna, he ordered. Kumbhakarna, the brother of Ravana, was a monster who fed on flesh. Long ago, when he was born, he started eating all living beings at a frightening speed. To save them, Brahma put him to sleep, allowing him to wait for only one day every 6 months. Ravana now ordered him to be awakened, although he had slept for only 9 days. Rakshasas descended into his underground mansion of gold, where his enormous form lay buried in sleep. They sounded bells and drums, but he did not stir. They struck him with clubs and trampled on him, but still he slept soundly. Finally, they brought hundreds of elephants to walk all over him, and at last he stirred. He yawned and stretched, calling for food, and they fed him on deer, buffalo, and pigs, with rags of blood and wine. Why have I been woken? He growled. What danger faces Lanka? The city is besieged. Rama has put Ravana to flight, leaving him only with his life. I shall conquer him and drink his blood, roared the monster. Leaping from his bed, he washed his face and called for more drink. After drinking hundreds more barrels of wine, he made his way full of excitement to his brother's palace. When he learned from Ravana the full extent of his troubles, he laughed. Did I not warn your brother that you were foolish to keep Sita? Now you are reaping the reward of your sinfulness and pride, he chided. But never fear, I will put your enemies to flight and devour Rama. Ravana gave him a golden throat of mayo and a huge golden pike. Maddened with the smell of blood, he strode into battle, surrounded by an army of giant Rakshasas. When the monkeys saw the colossal figure of Kumbhakarna step over Lanka's lofty battlements and advance towards them, they fled in terror. With great difficulty, Angada and Sugriva rallied them for the fight. Waves of monkeys attacked from all sides, hurling trees, rocks, and mountain peaks at him. But the monster felt no discomfort. He plowed into their ranks, tossing them aside, trampling them underfoot, crushing them in his arms, 10 or 20 at a time, and greedily thrusting them into his mouth until he was covered with their blood and gore. Hanuman was the first to halt his progress. He struck him with a mountain peak so violently that the monster stumbled. But Kumbhakarna thrust his pike deep into Hanuman's chest, forcing him to retire, vomiting blood. Thousands of monkeys jumped on the demon and climbed all over him, biting and scratching. But he threw them off or pushed them into his gaping mouth. Angada and Sugriva each attacked him with mountain peaks, and Hanuman broke his pike. Lakshmana attacked him with arrows, piercing deep into his chest and hurting him severely. But Kumbhakarna wanted to fight Rama. Finding Rama, he rushed at him in fury. Rama shot an arrow into his breast, making him bleed profusely. In delirium, he ran amok, devouring all in his path, whether monkey, demon, or bear. Here I am, shouted Rama, ready to kill you. Laughing insanely, Kumbhakarna charged again at Rama, brandishing an iron club in his right hand. Rama released an arrow, powered by the wind god, which severed Kumbhakarna's right arm. The demon lifted a tree in his other arm, but Rama severed that one too with another arrow, and with two more he cut off his feet. Still, he advanced, flying through the air with his horrific mouth open like a gateway to hell. Rama took a golden arrow encrusted with diamonds and sent it blazing through the air. It tore off the demon's head and mercifully brought an end to Kumbhakarna's reign of terror. The earth shook, celestials gathered in the sky to applaud, and the monkeys went wild with joy. The fall of Indrajit. The news of his brother's death came as a terrible blow to Ravana. Now he realized he had been wrong not to listen to Vibhishana's advice. Seeing his despair, his sons rallied around him. "We can still defeat Rama," they assured him. "We will kill him ourselves." Ravana felt his old enthusiasm return. His sons were, after all, powerful fighters who could fly through the air and knew the magic arts. Together, four of them went out. They were met by fierce fighting, and soon the ground was covered with the blood of the contestants. One by one, Ravana's sons were slain by the fury of the monkey chiefs. Last to go was Atikaya, equal in might to Ravana. As he went forth on his chariot, brilliant as 1,000 suns, the monkeys thought he was Kumbhakarna himself, come back to life. Lakshmana challenged him, but he laughed. "You are a mere boy. I advise you to leave unless you want to die." Lakshmana, however, was more than a match for him. Atikaya was protected by Brahma, so only a weapon powered by Brahma could kill him. Lakshmana knew this and invoked Brahma's blessing on his arrow, which cut off Atikaya's head. With all his sons, save Indrajit, killed in battle, Ravana at last recognized his opponent as Vishnu himself, from whom there could be no defense. But Indrajit would not allow him to give up the fight. "You will see Rama and Lakshmana lying dead on the battlefield today, killed by my arrows," he pledged. Before going to fight, Indrajit offered oblations into the sacred fire. The fire god rose dazzlingly from the flames to accept his offerings and gifted Indrajit with the cloak of invisibility, which allowed him to move unseen on the battlefield. He summoned his enchanted chariot, which flew through the air and set off to do battle, accompanied by monsters riding animals such as tigers, scorpions, crows, and serpents. This hideous assembly issued from the city gates, longing for victory over their tormentors. Indrajit ranged the sky and began showering devastating arrows upon the leaders of Rama's army. Moving like lightning, always hidden from view, he left them helpless to defend themselves. His incessant barrage soon overpowered the monkey chiefs and even Rama and Lakshmana. When he saw that they had all fallen on the field of battle, Indrajit withdrew in exultation to the city of Lanka. However, Vibhishana and Hanuman had survived Indrajit's onslaught. Roaming the scene of devastation, Vibhishana discovered Jambavan, lying wounded on the ground. The venerable bear whispered to him, "Does Hanuman live?" "Yes," answered the patient. "But why do you only inquire of Hanuman?" "Because he has the power to save us all." In the northern marches of the Himalayas, between the lofty peaks of Kailasha and Rishaba, is a mountain thick with healing herbs. Among them are four herbs of unmatched potency. The herb which brings the dead to life, the herb which heals wounds, the herb which mends broken limbs, and the herb which revitalizes the entire body. These rare herbs must be collected by Hanuman if we are to survive. Hanuman was soon coursing through the air on his way north. He passed over forests, cities, fertile plains, and rivers, and drew near to the mountain fastness of the Himalaya range, whose white peaks shone like clouds. Among them, he found the mountain of herbs, just as Jambavan had said, and searched all over it for the precious medicines. Unable to find them, he tore the summit from its roots and bore it away to Lanka. When he brought it to the battlefield, the fragrance of the herbs wafted over the wounded and healed their wounds. In addition, all those monkeys who had died in the battle were restored to life. The demons, however, had thrown all their dead into the ocean to conceal their numbers, and hence none was saved. When they came to know of the revival of the monkey army, other demon champions came forward to fight, but they all perished, killed by Sugriva, Hanuman, and Rama. The monkey's fighting spirit was high, while all looked bleak for the demons. Indrajit desperately thought how to discourage Rama and his army. If he could convince Rama that Sita was dead, surely Rama would give up in despair and Lanka would be saved. He used his sorcery to conjure up an illusory image of Sita, placed her on his chariot, and drove before the opposing army with a company of demons. Hanuman was astonished to see on Indrajit's chariot the figure of Sita. Her torn sari and pale, beautiful face were distinctly recognizable. But what was Indrajit doing with her? The demon took hold of her hair and dragged her towards him, beating her mercilessly. Hanuman was enraged. He surged forward with other monkeys, intent on stopping Indrajit. "You are pitiless and cruel. By this foul act, you are sending yourself to hell." "I agree that this woman should not be killed," taunted Indrajit. "But sometimes such things must be done in war. Watch me as I kill this princess so dear to Rama." Hanuman looked on in horror as he raised his sharpened sword and with a single stroke clove her in two, spilling her blood in his chariot. Enraged, Hanuman flew at Indrajit and aimed a huge rock to crush him and his chariot. But Indrajit speedily withdrew, leaving his army to be decimated by the outraged monkeys. Hanuman told Rama the ghastly news. When Rama heard it, he fell to the ground like a fallen tree and went into a deep depression. Lakshmana hurried to comfort him. Bewildered by this unforeseen turn of events, the two brothers remained in a state of shocked disbelief until Vibhishana arrived on the scene. When he was told what had happened, he knew straight away that this was a trick of Indrajit. He patiently explained to Rama the truth. Ravana would never allow Sita to be killed. He is too attached to her. This is a trick of Indrajit's, who loves to use his sorcery to delude his opponents. Even now, he is at the fire sanctuary preparing offerings for the fire god. Twice already he has overcome us through occult means, and if he is allowed to complete one more such ritual, he will become invincible again and gain sufficient powers to defeat us for good. We must prevent him. Let me take Lakshmana to that place to finish interview once and for all. Rama gave his blessings and they hurried off. On the way, Vibhishana asked Hanuman to launch an attack on the demon army so as to force Indrajit to leave his sanctuary to fend them off. Hanuman led the onslaught armed with rocks and trees, and before long they had put the demon army to flight. Sure enough, Indrajit appeared in rage to defend them. While Hanuman did this, Vibhishana and Lakshmana reached the place of sacrifice. Leading him through a dense thicket of ancient trees, Vibhishana brought Lakshmana to a clearing around a blackened banyan tree, which spread its hoary branches over the fire sanctuary. Smoke arose from the fire pit, which was surrounded by ritual artifacts, and female attendants waited for Indrajit, who had evidently left in a hurry and was expected back. Suddenly, Indrajit appeared, alerted by his aides of their presence in his inmost sanctuary. Deeply angered, he turned upon Vibhishana. You are Ravana's brother and my uncle, yet you have become our enemy. And now you have betrayed my secret. I despise you for this. Although I was born a demon, that is not my nature, replied Vibhishana. I have chosen a different path, driven away by the sinfulness of my family. Indrajit turned with contempt to Lakshmana. Have you come for more punishment? Do you forget that twice already I have crushed you? Stay then and fight, and I will fill you with arrows that will consume you as fire consumes a ball of cotton. So saying, he loosed a volley of arrows that pierced Lakshmana through, hissing like serpents. Lakshmana replied with 5 steel shafts that penetrated deep into his chest. And so the duel went, each displaying dazzling skills and strength, and seemingly invulnerable to the other's arrows. They deployed cosmic weapons against each other until they had exhausted their arsenals. Gradually, Indrajit, without the benefit of his invisibility, began to weaken in the face of Lakshmana's fury. Lakshmana invoked the glorious weapon of Indra, awarded to him by Vishwamitra in his youth. He took the arrow, fretted with gold, and guided by delicate feathers, and fitted it to his bow. Chanting mantras to Indra and invoking the name of Rama, he drew the arrow back to his ear, then released it. It flew straight and true and severed Indrajit's head from his shoulders. The gods, watching from the sky, showered flowers on Lakshmana and praised his deed. Rama hugged him close, soothing his injured limbs and ridding him of all pain. With the help of the healing herbs, he soon recovered from his ordeal. They all looked forward to the final showdown with Ravana. Jai Shri Ram.